there are certain social expectations, there are certain rules, there are certain, sort of say, scenarios in which we have to basically know. That's what we're expected to do when we speak in this setting versus this setting versus this setting. And I know that I'm speaking about something that you know, kind of intuitively, right? I'm not telling you anything new. But you probably don't think about it when you sit down and say, I'm gonna write a speech. If I ask you to write a speech, I say, imagine this setting, imagine this context, imagine this scenario. And I'll give you a scenario. I'll say, this is your audience. Audience makes a big difference. Knowing your audience makes a big difference. If you know who you're talking to versus you don't know who you're talking to, makes a big difference of what you say and how you say it, okay? So most of you, of course, are used to this whole educational speech giving, and you're used to the classroom environment, and that's what you know best, and that's what you understand. Now, I want to talk a little bit about responsibilities of the speakers. Erase this little diagram. By the way, this little diagram is in the book. Most of the things I'm going to draw on the board, they'll be in your book unless I come up with something completely ingenious. So a speaker, when he speaks in front of an audience, actually has a set of responsibilities. There are things that we kind of give for granted to a speaker. And the way the authors put it is there's these three factors. And this actually comes again from ancient Greeks. Aristotle identified three key factors that a speaker can control to influence others. What are these factors? Well, one of them is called logos, okay? Here, I'll write a little Greek here for you guys. Okay, logos. Logos means word, literally. That's what it means. Our words like study of this or study of that, like theology, right? Comes from word logos. Logos. Philology. As you hear that root right there. Logos means word. Okay. So logos is one of the things that you can control. The other thing that he says you can control is ethos. Okay. It's another concept. It's ethos. And the other idea that he brings out is pathos. So that's pathos. So I get to write a little Greek in this class. Isn't that fun? Let me explain what these things are. Now, essentially, when you say ethos, let's start with this. This is your credibility. Every speaker has a credibility issue in front of the audience. Okay? Logos has to do with your logic. How logical. This is where you hear that word logic, right? That's where it comes from. Your logic. What you're going to say, is it going to make sense or not? And then, are you credible? Ethos. Ethics, we get the word ethics and the word ethos, right? And then pathos has to do with feelings. Pathology, you may have heard that word before, right? People say, you are a pathological liar. You can't help it. You cannot help it. You don't even know you're lying, right? So here's how this breaks down. Like I said, the word ethics, ethos, doesn't really necessarily mean ethics like right or wrong necessarily. But the idea is that of your reputation. Are you credible? Are you ethical as a speaker? Do you come to me under false pretenses, or are you here to help me in some way? Is what you're saying going to hurt me? Are you trying to mislead me, or misguide me maybe somewhere in a place I don't want to go? So otherwise, this is it. Are you credible? Are you credible? So, as a speaker, I must be logical, consistent. I must be knowledgeable. I must know what I'm talking about. That's that word, logos. Okay? I must be ethical about my speech, meaning I am not to mislead my audience. I am not to try to lead them and give them a bunch of wrong information that will take them away somewhere, lost somewhere else. And then I need to connect that, what I'm saying, to them with their feelings. They have to walk away emotionally connected to what I said. If I combine all these three elements in my speech, then I'm hitting a bullseye. According to the Greeks, this is how speech, a good speech, is built. These three things, these three elements, these three key factors. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It's all in your textbook, by the way. So, Aristotle, for example, believed that when you speak, you're sharing a bond with the community. Like when you're speaking, you immediately make a connection with people who are listening to you, and you have responsibility to them, an ethical responsibility to say what is true, versus being disingenuous and mislead them. And so he says, if you do that, then you have what they call good sense, goodwill, and good morals. So here's the concepts that I want you to know. Under this, sort of say, under this idea of ethics, or ethos, is good sense, goodwill, and good morals. That means, does what you say actually make sense? Because if it doesn't, this is where critical listening comes in. If it doesn't, then what do? You dismiss it. You say that speaker doesn't know what he's talking about. Do you really want to listen to a person who doesn't know what they're talking about? Not really. Because why? You're wasting your time. You're giving your time to somebody who doesn't know what they're saying. They're not an expert. They're not knowledgeable. So why should you give them your attention? So that's good sense, Are you talking from a position of experience and knowledge? Not? Then maybe I shouldn't listen to you. Goodwill. What are you saying? What are you motivated by? Are you motivated by my well-being? Or are you maybe motivated not by my well-being, but by your well-being? Mm-hmm. How about this? A person who's trying to sell you something, are they motivated by your well-being, or are they motivated by their well-being?
Their well-being.
Especially if they're commission salesmen, right? The higher the price, the more money I get. So yeah, they're motivated. And that's why a lot of times people do not trust salespeople, especially who are commission salespeople. Nothing wrong with it. Listen, I've done sales for many years of my life. Hey, helped me go through college. It's okay. But the salespeople have a bad reputation, bad ethos a lot of times, because they're not trustworthy. Like, I don't know, what you're saying is benefiting you or me, And so if you can make a person believe that what you're saying is really to their benefit, you're on their side, you're helping them become better, somehow making their life better, then of course they're going to accept your message. But if they don't believe you, they don't trust you, that you're trying to do something good for them, that you're looking out for them, then again, they distrust you, and that means they're not going to listen to you. Or if they listen, they're going to dismiss what you said anyway. Does that make sense? This is what Aristotle meant when we have to have that ethical obligation to our audience, that we're leading them into a good place versus misleading them. And then good morals. Morals doesn't really have to do with the idea of morality, like right and wrong. I mean, I realize that most of us, when you hear the word morals, we're thinking right and wrong, good and bad, that kind of stuff. But in the ancient language, like in Latin and in Greek, it has to do more with your orientation to society, the people that you're connected with. What do I mean by good morals? Good morals is that you share the values of your audience. You share them. You understand who they are and where they are in life and where they stand. And you try to relate to what you're saying to them within the confines of those values, with the confines of those morals, with the confines of that understanding of life, that philosophy. Whatever it is that they think life is all about, whatever they think is most important in life, whatever they think is the most crucial in life, you share that with them. You have to find that connection point where you agree on something.